In this video, I'm going to show you how to tell which one of these functions matches this graph. So let's take it piece by piece. The number in the very front is the a value. The a value tells you the amplitude of the function. That means how high it goes above the midline, and that should be the same as how low it goes below the midline. So the amplitude of this function would be 3. That matches what we see on the graph because it has a high of 3 and a low of 3. Now all of these graphs have an amplitude of 3. Notice that the negative doesn't change the amplitude. The amplitude is still 3. Except for option B, which has an amplitude of 6. This graph does not have an amplitude of 6 because it only goes up 3 and down 3. If it had an amplitude of 6, it would go up 6 and down 6. So we can go ahead and throw out option B. But we still have to narrow it down with the other, between the other choices. So the next thing I want to talk about is the b value. The b value is the number that sits right here inside the function. So option A has a b value of 6. Here's why that's important. For sine and cosine, the period of the function, which means the length of one pattern. So, for example, here is one length, one cycle before it starts over again. The length of this along the x-axis is the period. Anyway, the period is going to be 2 pi divided by the b value. This is a formula that you need to memorize, or at least write it down so you can refer back to it. For option A, the b value is 6. That means the period would be 2 pi over 6. Now 2 over 6 as a fraction reduces down to 1/3. So this would mean that the period would be pi over 3. But looking at the graph, that is not the case. Like I just illustrated a moment ago, this is one cycle of the graph right here. And you can see that one cycle of the graph goes from here to here on the x-axis. We can already see that that has a length of 2 pi over 3, not 1 pi over 3. So we can throw out option A. But we still have to choose between these two. Notice these two options both have a b value of 3. So I told you that the formula for period is 2 pi over the b value. If the b value is 3, that gives you a period of 2 pi over 3. That matches what we see in the picture. That does have a period of 2 pi over 3. One cycle has a length of 2 pi over 3. So both of these are good so far. The only thing left to narrow down between these, in fact the only difference between them, is one of them is negative in the front and the other one is positive. So the last piece of information you have to have in the front of your mind is what the sine function looks like. So for example, this is a standard sine function. This would be y equals sine x. It starts at 0, 0 and it goes up and then down. On the other hand, if you had a function that started at 0, 0 and it went down first and then up, well, that would be y equals negative sine x. All right, the negative makes it upside down. So it's just a matter of which one of these it is. So you can see that this graph goes down first and then up. And that is the pattern of negative sine x. So we know that the answer is going to be choice C, that has the negative in front, which makes it upside down. So the answer will be C. But let's just confirm. And we're right, of course, we're geniuses.